Hi guys, Nomis here, and welcome back to Nomishavn for episode number 20. Last time I did some expansion around the hillside area Nygårdshøyden, built a new hilly cemetery, as well as expanding the hiking trails up in the mountains. In today's episode I am moving back to the Kronsdalen suburb, which I built all the way back in episode 12. I'll be adding to the suburb in two different areas, and both will have some very small and low-key train stops. First off, we're going past the center of the suburb in this empty flat area here. The train stop I'll be building here is an intermediate stop on one of the intercity lines, which is why I'll be adding it to the side of the main line, allowing express lines to go right past the stop. It's not a station with a building or anything, just some simple platforms with shelters, timetables and displays really. This stop gives me the opportunity to use some smaller standalone shelters I've been subscribed to for a while that didn't really fit in the bigger stations. I'll also add some waiting rooms and toilets, mostly sticking true to a more classic aesthetic. I'll also just want to mention this new overpass that you see me using in this episode that I'll probably be using a bunch more in a future episode. I believe it's called something like NZ overhead crossing. I believe it's modeled after a overpass in New Zealand, and you just plop it down on the road, place it, remove it, and then you can connect parts directly into it, and it just works and it looks great as well. And there's a bunch of different variations that you can use. There's also one for 3 platforms as well, I think, which comes in handy. After finishing the station, I'll go more into what I'll be building in the neighborhood around here. Right across the street from the train stop, I want to make a little center of this neighborhood, with all the most important buildings. First off, we need more schools, and it made sense to me to get a high school and elementary school side by side here. It will keep schools close for all the families moving in here, as well as increasing the capacity for the whole Kronsdalen district. I found some schools in the workshop which I believe to be from around the 1970s roughly, which is the aesthetic I thought fitting for the area. Nothing too classical, but also not super modern. I'll also build a little commercial center with a little mall, a fitness center for people to work out at, as well as an all-day grocery store. What more could you need for a perfect suburban lifestyle? Before moving further into the neighborhood, I'll add a few more smaller green cities apartments to transition over to the lower density that will be over here. Taking inspiration from suburbs around Norway, I want to start introducing row houses, a perfect middle ground between apartment buildings and detached houses, and you see a lot of these outside city centers in all of Scandinavia, I believe. The two sets of houses I use from the workshop are Swedish row houses and Scandinavian houses. I did quite a lot of work in Bob to add props with different variation to these, mostly in the backyards but also a little in the front. Both to save on the prop count and also it saves a lot of time detailing, and it allows me to use them easily in other suburbs later on. You might notice I just use these plain asphalt roads and fill in the gaps with ploppable asphalt all over the place. At least in suburbs in Norway it's quite normal to have sort of a main road of the neighborhood that is just 2 lanes with sidewalks where you drive off to get to the neighborhood streets. These are often just small roads without any sidewalks, normally with a speed limit of around 20 kilometers per hour. This makes it safe for children to play in the street, walk around the neighborhood and bike around as well. There's been very minimal parking in general in Nomishavn, but because this is the outskirts I will add some parking here and there. Although everyone living here should be able to get around perfectly fine without a car, having a train connection to Björgvin station nearby. Back in the hillsides, I've removed much of the forest to make room for some more development. The decision to build something here really came from looking at where the railway towards Nygårdshøyden station went, and got the idea that I could build a simple suburban train stop up in the hillside here. Because the railway and the entire area really is staying on slope here, building out the train stop here proved a challenge, even more so than I could anticipate. It started really simple as the other station, upgrading to station tracks, plopping down the platforms and an overpass, and drawing the paths before detailing it up. But when I ran the game to see people use the stops, I noticed my fatal mistake. More on that soon. So this is when I realized the heights of pretty much everything was wrong. Some people were standing on ground level, some were sinking into the platform, and some others were floating above the platform. No consistency at all. For context, the entire stop here sits at about a 3.8% gradient, which is pushing the limit of heavy rail. I had to get back the visible paths, adjust the height of them, adjust the height of the platforms, adding in more nodes, and also adjusting heights of all the props. Yes, all of them. And this went on for a couple of rounds at least. Yeah, so at this point I was very close to deleting the entire thing and starting over. But at some point it kind of worked. Yes, it was far from perfect, but Except for the glitchy way of walking up and down the overpass, there wasn't very noticeable sinking or floating, at least not unless you go really close. So I just let it pass and moved on to the rest of the build. I mentioned earlier decorating up the row houses with Bob, but I didn't really recall all that to show it. But before I build out more, I'll show a short glimpse of the method I used on these houses that I've used before and will use more of in a few minutes. When I find a collection of houses in the same style, I just line them up on a blank road and start adding things in Bob. If you haven't done this before, you just search for a prop after selecting a building with Bob, and then click the green plus sign to add it. And the easiest way to move around is to use the mouse wheel scrolling while hovering over the X and Z sliders, like you'll see in the video here. Directly around the station I want to create a tiny commercial center with some shops and a doctor's office that I will add in a little later, and would have seen me add in some parking lots earlier as well, which can be used both in the sense of park and ride, or people going to the shops around here that live just a little further away. And as always, density around the station is key, so the closest will be more apartment buildings before we transition into more houses in the nearby area. Mostly the detached houses that you saw me detail up a second ago, but also a few row houses where it makes sense. Because the terrain is a lot more gentle right here, I want to take advantage of that and create a little housing project with some identical apartment buildings centered around a lovely parking lot. I also wanted to have a decent elementary school close to all these people, so I added in just the standard vanilla one. I think this is the first one in the city actually. I've only used the European vanilla elementary school before. When there's very janky terrain that looks ugly and can't be smoothed out, there's only one thing to do: add rocks, and then some more rocks.
Rock show! Rock show!
After the growth today, I think Kronsdalen deserves its own sports team. And of course it will be a football team. The terrain is a little too even around here for what I want to build, so I need to eventually carve out a little plateau. But I can hide the edge of that later with some tricks. Since this is a suburb, it's a perfect opportunity to use one of the smaller stadiums. There won't be a whole lot going on around the station, just a little sports shop and some parking at the back near the club office. I also wanted to have a little training facility right by the stadium, which is fenced off with some smaller training fields. To emulate what could be like a gym for a team, I just merged together some smaller modern offices.
Rock show! Rock show! Rock show! Rock show!
So that is it for today's build, guys. I hope you enjoyed it if you made it this far. A like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated and help me grow the channel. And any comments are very welcome, praise and criticism alike. Have a great rest of your day and stay tuned for some cinematics.